Hello. Thank you for joining us, folks. Danny Boy Reg with you.
What's up, folks? Bill Corpus, Crispy Murphy here. Well, we got some bad news for you, folks. It's Monday.
It is. The good news is we're here on a
That
Monday.
is very good news.
Yeah, early Monday at 9:30 a. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for always joining us. Um,
Especially when it's 9:30 on a Monday.
exactly. Um, not too much to get to, but very important stuff to get to for sure. Um, Obviously, the NBA Finals it is capped off with the OKC Thunder winning. We'll break it all down in just a second. And a major trade. Suns and Rockets. Durant heading to Houston. Um, which obviously was the least shocking of everything. I mean, look, Kevin Durant could have gone to many places, but Houston is definitely one of those places. We'll break that down as well. And of course, we'll get to all the other stuff in a second. And after that, but NBA Finals, Game 7, massive game, winner take all, loser.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Yep. And it is the Thunder, as I just said, that becomes NBA champions after an absolutely just major second half performance, where OKC took advantage of the Tyrese Halliburtonless Indiana Pacers. We'll talk about that in just a second. But an absolute massive beatdown in the second half by the Thunder to cruise all the way to an NBA title. Good effort by the Indiana Pacers, despite losing Halliburton to what we now know is an Achilles injury. They fought as hard as they could, and but ultimately, look, when and they played very hard. They actually had a lead after the first half, Bill. But ultimately, when you give a pre and of course I'm getting weather alerts because there's massive heat warnings across the country. Um, when you give Oklahoma City enough chances and a lot of goodie bags, they're gonna take it and run, baby.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you gotta give the Pacers credit. They just, after Halliburton went down, though, they didn't just fold up and say, we're done. Like, they kept going.
Yeah.
Like, for most of the game, it was close.
Yeah, right up till the third quarter, I would have to say. By the time the fourth quarter hit, that's when the it was a complete explosion, offensive explosion by Oklahoma City. But yeah, it was close. You gotta give them credit. But here's the thing, Bill. 34-20 OKC advantage in the third quarter. That was
Yes.
massive stuff. And they just never looked, they didn't look back. And look, you hand it off to OKC, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander again, you know, coming up big. SGA points wise, he had 29, but he also had 12 assists and you know, he was a dominant force in the paint. Like he was just tremendous stuff. And then of course Jalen Williams getting into the action. Chet Holmgren had 18 of his own. Alex Caruso contributed with 10. He was a +8 off the bench, which is massive. Massive for the amount of minutes. He played 32 minutes on the night. That was huge for them. And what it came down to was Tyrese Halliburton played 7 minutes, then went down for the Pacers, and then the Pacers they didn't look like they played hard. They worked hard. They played hard. Benedict Mathurin, we gave him all the credit in the world. He had 24 points, led all the pace scorers. But it was a different team they fought. But Bill, it just wasn't. You can tell without Halliburton that this team just wasn't it.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah,
Like they just like again, we got to give credit where credit is due.
yeah, sure.
We got to give credit where credit's due. They stayed in there, but no, like the Pacers got okay. Come on, you all know what joke I'm gonna use.
The show.
They all got thunder, da 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 da, thunder. They've been thunderstruck.
Yeah,
Now they got no like, but no, this was a very good series.
it was.
Very good series,
Yeah.
and but this really shows to you here defense wins championships.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Pacers had like 32 turnovers and OKC had 1 trillion points off those turnovers. So makes a massive difference, right?
Oh,
When
absolutely.
when you turn over the ball and you allow the team to score off of that, it's tough.
Yes.
It is very tough to win games if you're going to give the ball away and allow to score. Think about what the Knicks did, right? Knicks kept turning the ball over to Indiana, and Indiana uh, kept taking advantage of that. Well, OKC did exactly that. It's tough to win games when you don't play well. Shooting wise, the Pacers weren't terrible, but you know, the OKC made big defensive plays, and that's what contributed to it. It was the offense and the defense.
In this series, the Pacers had 120 turnovers.
That's a high number for a 7 game series. That is a very high number.
The Thunder only had 88.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this proves that defense wins championships. Defense absolutely wins championships.
Now, of course, we gotta get to the elephant in the room. We've mentioned it several times already. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
And he's much bigger of a factor than we all think, right? Because while he was in the game, the Pacers looked pretty good. They look like they're on their way again to another, not necessarily win. I don't know if they were going to win the game, but they were going to keep it close, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, uh, right out the gate, it was back and forth, but the Pacers seemed like they had a little bit of a command, right? And then he goes down with a non-contact injury. And this is one of the things that we were kind of worried about with his strained calf. And when he went down and he started banging on the court, you knew something terrible had happened to that calf. And now we know it's an Achilles injury. His father, John Halliburton, said on the ESPN broadcast last night. Um, you feel for the guy because he wanted to play. This was game 7, game of your life. For all the marbles, you want to win an NBA championship, and it's right there for you, and it's gone. Not even 8 minutes into the game, and it's all gone.
Oh, it is. And we know about Achilles injuries with
Yeah,
Reggie's buddy Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
They are a bitch to come back from.
yeah. I mean, it took Kevin Durant at least a year to fully recover from Achilles. He injured. He also got hurt in the NBA Finals. Um, And obviously, we look at this playoff alone. Jason Tatum, Achilles. Damian Lillard, Achilles. And now Tyrese Halliburton, Achilles. Like it's a real thing, and for Tyrese's case though, like it was a risk, right? You knew the risk of
Yeah.
when you're playing on a strained calf. Like you knew that, you know, you could very well, aggravate it a little bit more and, present a lot of risk to it. And, you know, that's just what it comes down to. Indiana knew the risk, Tyrese knew the risk, they gambled and they failed. They failed big time. Because not only did you lose your best player and lose the finals, you may not have him if it's as bad as we fear that it is. For definitely not next season. Probably won't see him till like 2027.
And that's being generous.
Like, oh my God. So it proved costly. It's shown on the court, even though, like we talked about, we give Indiana credit for fighting as hard as they could. It proved costly.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. But we say congratulations to Oklahoma City, the Thunder, Oklahoma City's first NBA title. Obviously, the franchises they already had an NBA championship when they were the Seattle SuperSonics. This is the Oklahoma City's first NBA title, and we're happy for them. We're happy for this young core, Shea Gilgeous Alexander. I mean, just a awesome player to root for. I'm happy for him. Happy for that young core and everyone on that team. Mark Dagnall, the incredible coach, had a terrific uh coaching season. I'm happy for him. And what a playoffs, Bill.
Wow.
What a playoffs.
I know, right?
Um, and we talked about how much drama there is in the NFL playoffs leading to the Super Bowl. NBA Finals, the playoffs leading up to the NBA Finals finally had some juice. A lot of upsets, game sevens, big time matchups.
Yeah. What an NBA playoffs to cap off the season, right?
Yeah, I was very thrilled with what I saw this season in the NBA. I'm very
So,
thrilled about the playoffs.
Reggie, my friend, the 2024-2025 NFL NBA, sorry, doink, NBA season is in the books.
Yep,
It is in the books. It's on the shelf.
yeah. And now we transition to the off season where there's going to be a lot of off season moves. One of them was kind of already made. Even I don't know if you want to count the day of the last game of the NBA season, the off season, but sure, why not? Kevin Durant heads to Houston from Phoenix.
Mhm.
News broke in the afternoon. Um, KD actually learned about it at Fanatics Fest over in New York City. So that was
Yeah, I actually have a friend who went to Fanatics Fest,
right,
and I haven't talked to her since then, but she posted pictures of it on Instagram.
right.
She looked like she had a good time.
Yeah, it looks fun. I've never been to one, and
Yeah, I would like to go, but I guarantee you those tickets are probably
yeah,
an
too
arm, a
expensive.
leg, a kidney, your potential firstborn son.
Yeah, little too much.
Nah,
Little
I
too
can give a
much.
kidney. I got another one.
Yeah. But Katie was actually at Fanatics Fest when he found out. He was on stage at being asked questions when the crowd started absolutely erupting. If you go on X or any or Instagram, whatever social media platform, you'll see all the videos and then some. Um, with all these reactions, Kevin Durant in real time finding out that he's going to Houston. Um, we'll see, is basically what he said. Like, we'll see what happens. Um, in any case, Kevin Durant traded to the Houston Rockets in exchange. Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, um, the number 10 overall pick in the NBA draft, which originally belonged to Phoenix, now goes back to Phoenix. And they also get the Phoenix Suns also get five second rounders from Houston. Houston gets um, a big time score. Look, I know Kevin Durant um, hasn't necessarily been, I don't want to say great because he hasn't been great. He's been hurt, he's missed time, he's a bit of a stiff, but still one of the best scorers I've ever seen in my life, Bill.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. He's 15-time All-Star, 4-time scoring champion, most valuable player from 2013, 2014. And now, and now, I think this is a win now move for Houston.
Yes. And a move that they had to make. Look, they were second in the Western Conference behind OKC.
Yes.
Now OKC had nearly 70 wins. They had 68 to be exact. Whereas Houston had 50. So of course that's how far apart uh they were from the champs. And look, their offense wasn't necessarily great. There certainly needs improvement, and this certainly gives that improvement. This is a guy that can give you at least 20 plus a night. The 25, 27 a night. You don't need him to score a trillion points. 25, 27 is perfect. You'll have that. You still have Fred VanVleet, who is a champion. KD was a champion. Ime Udoka, he never won a championship coaching yet, but he has been to the NBA Finals. He knows what it takes to become a winner. Um, this look and of course, I talked to my friend Zachary Haynes, comedian from Washington D.C. and former SIN host, about this, and he wasn't necessarily loving the KD idea because he likes that young core, which I totally understand. But you want to win,
Oh, you absolutely want to win.
you know, win.
No, and I think he's in France right now, believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah, he's actually on a Mediterranean cruise.
Oh, good for him.
No, he's
He's on a
yeah.
nice Mediterranean cruise while we're here. I don't know how it is in DC right now. Well, here we're supposed to be hot as hell today and
We
tomorrow.
so we are on an excessive heat warning right now.
We are too.
It's pretty bad. Um,
So he's probably on a nice cruise, feeling good,
mhm. Yeah,
and
man.
we're here sweating our asses off.
Yeah, yesterday was actually more comfortable than I thought it was.
To me, it was just humid.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, the humidity, I think the dew point was at like 70 last couple of days. It's just
Like we're
very
supposed to
awful.
be in like smashing records from like the 1880s.
Yeah, yeah,
We're smashing records from like the 1880s, folks.
yeah. It's bad. It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
but no, but I think Kevin Durant, he's got a good, he's averaging 26.6 a game, points a game. And, but they got that core. They got Alpern Sigon, Jabari Smith Jr., Amen
Mhm.
Thompson, Fred Van Vliet, and I think with Durant, the Rockets are going to be a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, look, and look, it's still a core that you can work with to be better. They have the core right now. I know you gave away your young players and your draft pick and all the other stuff. Look, I get that. I totally understand. You want to build, but part of building is also trying to get better. And your offense just wasn't good enough. So yeah. Um, Look, it may not be the best move, and look, I totally feel because I know Zach didn't necessarily want it, but Zach, I'm telling you, man, you now have a chance to compete, really
Yes, you
compete in the
do.
West. So, good move. And as for the Suns, I mean, I don't know if this is the only move they're gonna make, because look, they lost KD. So I don't know if this is the only move they're going to make. They'll probably make some other moves to help complete this team. But, along with Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, you have Devin Booker, who's going into his prime. So you still, and look, and again, for Suns fans, I also understand. Look, they traded for Kevin Durant. They gave up Mikal Bridges. They gave all those all the other picks and all that stuff to Brooklyn stuff, right? So I get that. I totally understand that. But you can still build a team from what this is. Like, you're not done yet. So
No, you're 100% not done. But now, one of the problems is going to be, do the Suns now have too many guards on their roster?
yeah, there's definitely you're gonna have to make other moves to fully complete this roster. Because there's otherwise you're gonna have players play out of position, which is not ideal. So the hope is that this is not the only move they make. I'd be shocked if it is.
Nah. And you know who also lose out on everything? The Miami Heat.
Yeah, because they had Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, who are begging for a superstar, right? They're all alone trying to figure shit out, you know, and for a while, I thought the Miami Heat would definitely get KD. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought maybe Miami would be the best, was going to be the best place for him, and as it turned out, it wasn't. Uh, it would be Houston Rockets. They probably had. I think Houston had more assets that the Suns wanted.
Agreed. So, big things going on right now in Houston with Kevin Durant. Big things going on in Houston with Kevin Durant. I think they're going to be in good shape. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, no, I think they'll be in great shape. I think they'll certainly be better than 50 wins. Um, and look to compete for a championship. And look, I really hope that Kevin Durant can finally break that stigma. And I think this is his best chance to do it. Break the stigma where he can win a championship without having those big time players behind him, like Steph Curry and uh Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Like, I want this for him. He deserves it. He deserves it. I thought he had a good chance in Brooklyn. It didn't quite work out. Let's see.
Nah, 100%. Now, we see what KD's going to do in Houston.
Yeah. And by the way, um, of the OKC Big Three that almost beat LeBron in the finals. Didn't quite get there. Um, all three, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, at one point in their careers, had been on the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
So KD's in Houston.
Mhm.
We wish him the best.
We wish him the best. And NBA offseason's here officially.
Yeah.
We have a
And
champion, and now we have uh our first. If you want to call this a first offseason move, you can. Sure. And then more offseason moves are going to be made. This week is the NBA draft. I believe on Wednesday and Thursday nights, I believe.
yes.
Rounds one and two. Knicks don't have a first round pick, they have second round picks. Um, so we'll look out for that and see where all the players go. But yeah, now we enter a bit of a down period, Bill.
Yeah, we're now in that all right, folks, we got to tell you something. There's two periods in the sports cycle that are sort of downtime,
Right.
or when we have when things are getting slow. And those two times are, and I'll tell you what they are. The first one is between Super Bowl Sunday and Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
So usually between it's in February and March when we're just, it's football season's over and we just have that block that we're just waiting. And then we have the other one that starts today, which is the end of the NBA finals and goes into football season.
Yeah.
But we still got baseball.
Yeah. This is
We
great.
still got baseball, which is wonderful. We
Yes.
love baseball.
And we'll have definitely have more baseball coverage.
We're gonna give you more baseball stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the time where things are just slow.
Yeah.
Like,
I would consider it slower than after the Super Bowl because at
no,
least after the Super
I
Bowl, we still have hockey, we still have basketball, and then spring training. So
yeah, because here, unless you're a baseball guy like we are, these next couple of months are gonna be dull for you.
yeah, and of course our baseball season really started after the Knicks lost. So
Yeah. Hey,
and
we're about a month into our
yeah,
baseball season.
but boy, has that been disastrous. We missed out on the good parts.
I know. Now we're in the June. We're in
Good
June.
God,
Almost July.
oh man,
And don't worry, we'll be getting another Bombers banter in the somewhat near future.
yeah, probably sometime next week. Because it's July is next week, so.
So we'll probably give you a Bombers banter sometime next week.
Yeah, definitely not on 4th of July. Don't expect a show from us on 4th of July.
Yeah, we're gonna be busy that day. We got things to do. We got burgers and dogs to grill. We got beers to drink. We got fireworks to launch.
And I have to work. So,
And folks, I got to tell y'all a very important lesson. Ready? Alcohol and fireworks do not mix. Be careful.
amen to
This has
that.
been wise advice from me.
Yeah.
His advice is free.
Yeah.
If I
So
have to give you guys any more advice, I got to start charging. Hey, we all got to make money, right, Reg?
exactly. Um, but yeah, man, NBA offseason starts. We now transition full time mostly to baseball. The good news is that it's just about a month. And then we start to talk a little more football as the training
We
camps
got
will
training
open.
camp in a couple weeks.
I've held off my football opinions just so I could save them for when we start talking football full time.
Well, don't worry, folks. You're still gonna get my new coaching hire transition, my new coaching hire rank tier video in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
So you're gonna get that, I promise.
yeah.
And no, and we also got some, we got some things might be slow. Things might be slow, but don't worry, things are gonna start picking up soon.
Yeah.
And we're gonna give you as much content and entertainment as we can.
Hmm.
And yeah, but no, but we are gonna be honest, it is gonna be a bit slow here.
Yeah. We'd be lying to you if we said that it wasn't. Uh,
Agreed.
yeah.
All right, so also we got some whilst we begin this transition into baseball,
Yeah.
Carl Raleigh
Hmm.
from the Seattle Mariners has been, I think he's the first player this year to hit 30 home runs, right?
Yeah, Cal Raleigh has been tremendous. This season, I'm about to say off season. This season, Cal Raleigh's been tremendous. I was talking about this with Rifkin and Olaf's guy yesterday on Batter Up because we mentioned him and we were talking about who we rather see, who we want to see in the All-Star game, and of course Rifkin is killing us for not picking him. But the only reason why I didn't pick him was because we knew he was going to make it anyway. So it's like, okay, well, we're going to see him. This is one of we don't really necessarily see power hitting catchers
No,
anymore.
we really don't.
That's not a thing. So for Cal Raleigh to hit 31 home runs and he had another one against the Cubs yesterday, um, for him to be on this massive power tear has been very satisfying to watch. I would be lying to you if I said that it wasn't satisfying. Um, but yeah, 31 home runs, league leading. Um, the Mariners, by the way, took two or three from the Cubs over the weekend. Um, in this series alone, he had about four home runs. Drove in 6 runs and continues to be the biggest reason why the Mariners are you know playing better than we thought they were this season. Um, and just wanted to point that out there. Batting 327, he has 16 home runs, 34 RBI over the past 29, 30 games or so. Um, but yeah, man, I just want to give that quick shout out. He has been playing tremendous ball. We're very happy for him. Someone that hasn't been playing tremendous ball, this is all season long. Francisco Alvarez of the New York Mets. So bad, they sent him down to Syracuse.
Ooh.
I mean, and that is a massive flip from a couple years ago when he was tearing it up in big leagues. So now he's going back to AAA. Um, and then now primary catcher, of course, Yankee legend Luis Torrens. Um, he fills in Torrens, who has been stellar. He's done a tremendous job. Um, when he plays. Now that he's going to be the guy for the foreseeable future, let's see if he can snatch it and take it, run with it, and hope he doesn't look back. Like he is, Torrens is really good. He is very good. We're not asking him to be the best player in the league, but definitely number one for the Mets.
No. So, yeah, kind of a hit for the Mets there, huh?
Massive. A lot of people had high hopes for Alvarez, and just hasn't quite gone the way that they wanted to.
So, yeah, Mets are kind of struggling right now. with that.
Yeah, I mean, overall, they just it's just been bad overall for the Mets. They did, I think they had 7 home runs on Saturday against the Phillies, but what is that like 8 of 9 or something like that?
I believe so. Okay, so yeah. Anything else?
I got nothing else.
Hold on, let me check if there's anything.
Mhm.
Sorry, it's already starting off slow, isn't it?
Yeah, Ryan Yarborough's on the injured list again.
Yeah, that sucks.
That sucks for the Yankee rotation.
That really sucks for the rotation. And there's the way too early power rankings for the NBA.
Yeah, there's power rankings also because of the Tyrese injury and the KD trade, those corresponding things just happening all in one day. The title odds all of a sudden, they're jumping back and forth. So yeah,
I don't like these. I'll be honest. I don't like when they do these things, when they do them like the day after.
yeah,
I don't like when they do like these power rankings, like for NBA the day after the finals,
right.
for the NFL the day after the Super Bowl, or for baseball the day after the World Series. I don't like that they do these like the day after.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, come on, we just wrapped it up. Like, do we really? We're thinking about next year already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they're saying there could be a dynasty in OKC. We're just gonna have to see about that because, like we've been saying here today, they got a good young team there.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens then. Okay, I don't think we have anything else. Yankees took 2 out of 3 this weekend from Baltimore, so that was good.
Yeah, they almost didn't, by the way, but
But we did, and that's the important part. That's the important part, Reggie.
uh, uh,
So yeah, that's where we yeah, that's pretty much it for today, isn't it?
yeah, that is. If you like what you see, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can hit that button to get all the notifications. Um, Follow our socials, and oh, would you look at that? Sorry, I was looking at something. Not important. But in any case, but yeah, no, I am. NBA season's over. Very happy with the result. Um, yeah, keep following our podcast. Listen wherever you get your podcasts, or watch it live right here on the YouTube channel.
We got a bunch of other things here as well.
Yeah. Um, we love you. We appreciate you. We thank you.
Stay safe and take care.
Bye.